Hey guys, my name is Vin Diesel and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we're trying to find the weirdest, strangest, or least played game on PlayStation Premium, and today we've reached the letter V. This time around, we have 7 games to choose from, and honestly speaking, most of these games aren't really my cup of tea. We start things off with Voodoo Chronicles: The First Sign, a hidden object and puzzle solving game from 2013. I hear this game has a pretty good story, and being that I enjoy hidden object games, I feel like I have to try this out. Next, we have Vikings: Wolves of Midgard, an RPG from 2017 that's based upon the world of mythology and history of the Vikings. Vessel is a 2D action scroller that follows the story of an inventor that's trying to restore the machinery in his world by using what he calls a fluoro. The game has great reviews and brings a very unique style of puzzle solving to the table. Velocity Ultra is what some would call a bullet hell type of game. You know, those games where you fly a ship trying to dodge a storm of bullets on screen? Yeah, that. And what makes this one unique is the ability to teleport between walls. You would have to play it to understand. Next, we have Vampire, a game I've heard a lot about but never had the chance to try out. It's an action RPG released in 2018 that follows the story of a doctor turned vampire in the city of London during the Great War. Sounds kinda interesting, to be honest. Next on the list, Vampire the Masquerade. This game is a visual novel that tells a story about the conflict and struggles between two vampire factions in the city of New York that's affected by the player's choices. Again, these graphic novel types of games are really not my cup of tea. And finally, we have Valiant Hearts: The Great War, another side-scroller puzzle adventure that takes place during World War I. Now, none of these games are weird per se, but I feel like the game with the weirdest premise has to be Vampire. Velocity Ultra doesn't have a story. Voodoo Chronicles is just a point-and-click game. And Vampire the Masquerade is, well, it's a visual novel. With these choices, I think that Vampire takes the win for today. So let's get right into it. Before I even start, the game tells me that I must take responsibility for my actions. This lets me know right away that every decision I make will have major implications in the open world. I go ahead and start a new game, and I'm presented with 3 difficulty modes. And because I ain't no bitch, I chose hard mode. Psych, I ain't crazy. After the intro cutscene, we awaken in a pit of dead bodies, and Jonathan here, our main character, is thirsty, and we all know for what. He stumbles onto his sister Mary that was in the area looking for him, when all of a sudden, we give in to our desire for blood.
What have you done?
Mary! Oh, no. Mary!
Now, this scene is supposed to be sad, or maybe it's meant to give us some emotion, but I just met these characters. This death means nothing to us as the player. Also, Jonathan seems to get over it pretty quick, so let's keep it moving. We now start running away from the town's vampire hunters while learning the controls. Obviously, this section is meant to be the tutorial part of the game. Some of the reviews mentioned that the combat in this game was strange, and I can see why. The lock-on or auto-targeting throws off the melee attack, and if you try to dodge, it dodges you into the enemy. Maybe it's just a learning curve and I'll just get used to it. We move forward until we find our first hideout, an area where we can rest and upgrade weapons and skills. While in the hideout, we find a few corpses and a gun, and Jonathan here, being a man of science, thinks that this is just all a nightmare, and decides to do what anyone would do in a nightmare: put a bullet through their chest.
It's a nightmare. That's it. So be it. Rational thinking only.
Thanks for the trophy, I guess. We once again come back from the dead, and the mysterious voice belonging to the vampire that turned us starts talking to us. I purchase a few new upgrades and proceed to leave the hideout, since the hunters are hot on my tail. I get into a few more tutorial fights and found out that my stamina bar plays a big deal in this game, being that if you have no stamina, you can't dodge nor throw attacks. I also didn't realize that if you don't consume blood, you can't use abilities either. Moving on, we find another corpse along the pier, which seems to have been drained of its blood. We now learn how to use our vampire senses to follow the trail of blood so we can find the killer. The trail leads to a pub where we must speak with the locals in order to find the killer. We do some talking, some more talking, and some more talking, until we meet a guy named Edgar who seems to know a lot about vampires. He pulls out his holy cross and almost sends us to the holy realm. We ask for some answers, and we learn that we're both after the same vampire that's been recently killing people. We now have the knowledge of who we're looking for, and after following another trail, we're introduced to our killer. We put him down on our first try, and Edgar tells us that the sun is coming up, and that he will provide us shelter at the hospital that he owns. We agree and go with him under the condition that we help the patients of his hospital. We start chapter 1, and the mysterious voice in my head is trying to peer pressure me into giving into my vampire needs. He suggests that I kill this person in front of me that has just stabbed a man to death. I'm thinking sure, he looks like a bad guy anyways. But then I remember that the game said at the beginning that my actions will have consequences, so I decided to let that man go. We speak with Nurse Dorothy, which tells us that my room is prepared and that I should get some rest. Knowing that my stamina is crazy important, I decided to upgrade my stamina and my bite abilities to try and make things easier for me. It's the following night, and Nurse Dorothy comes to my room to tell me that the hospital is out of antiseptics. I tell her that I can make some with the right ingredients, and she points me to the morgue, which is where I'll be able to find some. We approach the morgue, but we hear some scowl nearby, so I decided to check it out. Scowl are what we call enemy vampires that seem to have no conscience. These are our basic enemies throughout the game apart from the hunters. We take them down and we find a photograph in a wallet. This gives us a side quest that we must return the wallet back to its owner. This is where I get a little distracted. In any game that I play, if there's a side quest, I tend to do them before anything else. So I proceed to speak with the hospital staff so that I may track down the owner of the wallet. Long story short, I spoke with everyone at the hospital and managed to find the guy. With that out of the way, now I proceed to go get the supplies at the morgue. We get there, take out some scowl, and manage to find 2 ingredients. The last ingredient is in the basement, and the new scowl is in my way. We call him John Doe, and this caught me off guard. He uses a teleport ability that creates a shadow of himself and attacks me from both sides. In this battle, my strategy was to attack him 2 times and dodge. If I attacked him more than twice, I would be left without enough stamina to dodge his attacks. I managed to take him down, craft the anesthetic, and bring him back to Dorothy. With that complete, I go speak with Edgar, who finally introduces me to the other vampire that he's been helping. But first, I gotta get a few more stamina upgrades. Her name is Lady Ashbury, which turns out to be a benefactor for the hospital. she needs my help to find out who has been blackmailing her. We take on the quest and speak with more staff members and patients that leads us to a meeting with Dorothy and the Mobster. I follow the Mobster through the sewers, and it appears that he's already being attacked by a scout. He didn't even give me the chance to do the honors. We take down some scout while searching for his body, and while following the blood trail, we are met with another mini-boss, a fucking werewolf. The game calls it a sewer beast, but come on, look at it. That's a werewolf. My battle strategy is the same. Attack twice and leave some stamina for some dodges. I have a pistol from the beginning of the game, but I've never used it. I figured things are going pretty good in this battle, so let's give it a shot. I learned that the white bar at the bottom of his health bar is a stun meter, that when drained, he gets stunned, obviously. Only certain weapons do that, and that information would come in handy in the future. I ran out of bullets and went back to the old strategy, and eventually took him down. I inspect the body of the Mobster and find a clue on where to go next. We make our way to the surface and into the town next over, which is where we're going to find our blackmailer. I stumble onto a level 18 scout, and at this point, I feel like I can take on anything, so I did what any other person would do. I walked the other way. I ain't dying tonight, bitch. That alley is yours. I make my way through the town and find out every enemy here is double digits, while I'm still level 8. I try to run past some hunters, but I can't seem to interact with doors if I'm in combat, so now I have no choice but to fight. I take a wrong turn and reach a dead end, and I'm now cornered by 3 hunters and more incoming. I'm taking a beating, and at this point, I've been turned into a meme by the hunters.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up. Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
I managed to dodge my way out of there and take out everyone but the shotgun hunter. Now it's just me and him, and this shoots me through a wall? What the game? This hunter knows what he's doing. The guy is a tank. He counters all of my moves, so the only way to damage him is to counter his. After a few minutes, this guy forgets he's in a fight and starts to walk away from me. Guess I bored him. Understandable, since this fight has been going on for more than a minute now. I make my way to a man named Darius, who might know where Dorothy is, and he slams the door in my face. I follow him from the streets and, well, if it isn't Nurse Dorothy. I eavesdrop on their conversation, and I must now find and interrogate 2 other townsfolk in order to get the bottom of the blackmail. On my way there, I run across 2 men arguing. They seem concerned about a warehouse nearby and want me to check it out. And since you know me, we gotta do that side quest. I find my way to the warehouse and I'm met with a new hunter that uses gas to attack. And to my surprise, that stuff melts through my health bar like butter. I decide to run past them and yeah, I'm The hunters follow me and we're all in the room together. So I just bolted. They'll take care of each other. I come back to fight the winner, but I ended up getting folded. Twice. I said screw it and deleted that side quest. Now I'm back on track. I find the 2 townsfolk, talk to them, and head back to Darius so that he can let me in. These vampire powers are very inconsistent. I mean, I could have just teleported through the fence from earlier, but whatever. We find Dorothy needing help with a sick patient, and it's up to us to perform surgery. With the patient losing tons of blood, Jonathan is blinded by his desire to drink blood, but he holds tight and completes the procedure, but ultimately fails and the patient dies. We now speak with Dorothy about her blackmail, but she doesn't want to back down, so I'm left with the decision to either kill her or spare her to convince her to stop. I'm a good vampire, so I spare her. for the time being. She agrees to drop the blackmail, and I proceed to report this information back to Lady Ashbury. Now, this game has intrigued me. I've been playing for hours now and I'm quite enjoyed it. But for now, I'm going to end the video right here. Let me know what you think about this game. Have you played it? Did you like the story? Me? I'm probably going to continue the story for a little while longer. That's all for now. Thanks for watching till the end. My name is Vin Diesel. See you next time.